Hello everyone, in this lecture we are going to explain the difference between direct object and indirect object, but if you are new to my channel then subscribe the channel and like the video. Let's move and learn first indirect object. Indirect object refers to an object that receives the action of the verb indirectly. What does it mean? Simply it means that indirect object is nothing but it is an object which is affected indirectly by a verb. In other words, you can say that indirect object receives an action of the verb in indirect manner. Look at these examples, then you will get the idea. The boy gave the girl a flower. Look at this example, there are two objects, one is the girl and the second is a flower. So one is direct object and the second is indirect object. So, here, the girl is indirect object because it is not directly affected by the verb, gave, so that is why it is indirect object. But if you are confused, then ask yourself these questions, then you will identify it. To whom did the boy give a flower? For whom is something done? If you ask these questions from yourself, then indirect object will show itself to you in a sentence. So in this case the flower is given to a girl, so here the indirect object is the girl, and the flower is direct object in this sentence. Look at another example. The teacher gave the students a test. Here in this sentence, there are also two objects, one is the students, the second is a test. But how can I identify the indirect object? Again ask this question. To whom did the teacher give a test? The answer is, the students, so this is indirect object of this sentence, and, a test, is a direct object. Look at this final example. I wrote my mother a letter. Here the two objects are, my mother and, a letter, but how to identify the indirect object in this example? So again ask yourself this question. For whom did I write a letter? The answer is, my mother, so this one is indirect object of this sentence. Basically, it is indirectly affected by the verb, write, and an object which is directly affected is, a letter. As you have understood indirect object, let's learn direct object. It can be defined as, a direct object refers to an object that receives the action of the verb directly. What does it mean? Simply, it means that the term, direct object, is called that because it is directly affected by the action of the verb. If you are not getting the point, then just look at these examples, then you will understand it. She washed the clothes. Here in this sentence, the clothes are direct object, but the question is how? Simply, the answer is because here, the clothes, directly receives the action of the verb, washed. In other words, you can say that it directly affects in this sentence, so that is why it is called direct object. John wrote a letter. Here the phrase, a letter, is a direct object because the subject performed an action and that action is received by a letter directly, so that is why it is a direct object. Look at another example. He broke the glass. Look at this example and let me ask you a question. What received the action of breaking? The answer is clear, the glass, so here it directly affected, so it is direct object. Well guys, if you have understood the concept of direct and indirect object, then please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you.